Okay, so you're going back to Rome in
I am.
in
And like,
shortly.
oh no, in like 30 minutes.
Yeah. How does Rome make you feel? Because most people speak in cliches about Rome because they're just like visitors or you know it intimately, but then you can have a bit of perspective, right? Because
Right.
you've lived in the States.
Yeah.
So what is
So I think Rome, my mom is from Rome. I
Yeah.
had never lived there before. I grew up in the States. So I've been there for about 4 years now. And when I'm there, it gets a little tight sometimes. And the people can be a little closed-minded. So that's been a little difficult just to adjust to that aspect. But every time I leave, I end up missing it because it's seen, like they say, Roma è la mamma che ti coccola, and it's true. Apart from my mom being there as well, so and we have a very close relationship. But in general, just I feel at home and cozy and safe. I guess I would say safe in Rome.
That's so funny. So, but what about like if you had to compare, like living in Italy and living in the States or in New York, where you were living for what 7 years?
Yeah, 7 years in New York.
Like
Yeah.
what are the biggest differences?
All right, so many differences. Let's see. I've really gotten used to, I think, I guess in Italy, being in Europe, just because I love the fact that everything's so close and it's so easy to move around and you can, discover so many different cultures, you know, just by taking a train and everywhere in Italy, like there's just from going north to south, like everything, it changes vast, like the people, everyone you end up meeting, what they have to say, the food, the language, the accents. So I feel like I've learned a lot more being in Europe, and I've traveled more. New York, I mean, I miss New York. When I was there, I thought I was finally at home.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I
finally
think that's what everyone's searching for, right? Is that feeling where
having a base.
where you say this is me. This city makes me the best version of me.
That was me while I was. I've changed a lot. So now, if I were to go back to the States, I would go to California 100%.
Oh, really?
Or if I were to go back to New York, I would go to, if I had to, because I don't really want to go back to New York, I would probably live in Brooklyn. So I would need somewhere a bit more quiet. Like New York is too hectic. I love it. I think it's great for while I was there. It was my last year, senior year in high school and college. All of college, which was a great experience. I went to Parsons. I was super creative. I was dabbling in all sorts of. Whoops. Let me fix that. Art.
It's okay.
Is that fine?
Yeah,
okay. All sorts of. I did a bit of photography. I did theater. I had a band for a while. So I was doing many different things, and I was happy there in that moment of my life. Now, when I go back, I feel like it's very claustrophobic. It's very chaotic. People are there for a short amount of time, so they're usually thinking about themselves and how to get ahead. And I mean, you notice this just by walking in New York. Like everyone's walking. You're like, where's everyone going? And everyone's going super fast, and they don't even look at you in the face. Everyone's looking down at their feet. They're walking away, and they'll bump into you. No one will say sorry. It's just very self-centered, I guess. I guess you're there for your own reasons. You're there for a goal and or to live your American dream or to fulfill the American dream. So you're there for a short amount of time. It's expensive. So you have to focus on what you're trying to achieve, and you don't have that much time, I guess, to build strong, real, long-lasting relationships, I think. As far as meeting someone as a lover or as a friend, and when I go back, it's difficult to, like, half of my friends have left, so it's always changing. Constantly changing. The places maybe stay the same, but then the crowds are all these new faces. So when I go back, it's a bit sad for me because I've lived New York in 7 years in so many different ways. It's been a different New York for me, from when I went in 2006 when I left, like 2013. I was doing completely different things. But I mean, it could have been a different city, different cultures. It's weird. But now
what do you think, if you don't mind my asking? The question I get a lot is, Kylie, so you've been living all these years in Italy. Like, do you like, is it easier to fall in love, or do Italian men really have, is it the stereotype that they're so romantic, and that they're,
It's a bit of a
that they're good
stereotype.
lovers?
It's a bit of a stereotype.
Yeah,
No, they definitely, they're
what,
passionate. They're very passionate.
Yeah.
They're
But
Latin, they're,
but what does that even mean? People talk about passion, and I don't, honestly, I don't. Oh, okay, it's you shouldn't generalize, but we will anyway.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
because I think, I mean, for both of us, like, we've both lived in, the Anglo-Saxon cities, and then a lot of time here in Italy, and you do see that there is a mindset, right? Like,
Right.
that I find anyway, don't you?
With Italians.
Do you think? Yeah.
And the way of approaching women in general.
Yeah, I think there is.
Definitely. Yeah, and I think as an Italian, I can see that. I can read it right away. I mean,
yeah.
Tourists, foreigners, American girls, they'll meet an Italian guy, and just already, like, stereotypically, that's what you're expecting. Like, buonasera bella, like all this, buy you a drink at the bar, and I don't know, just super sweep
take
you off
on
your
my
feet, I'll take you here.
I'll show you Piazza Navona.
Exactly. Exactly. So, as an Italian, they don't try as hard to impress. I don't know. Italians, I don't know. I never really, I don't think I'd see myself with an Italian.
No?
I know, that's weird. Now living here, maybe, because I feel more Italian. When I was in the States, I would, no. But I never really saw myself with an American either.
Really?
Yeah, American, no. I guess international, I like European in general. That has traveled a lot and has seen the world. I mean, you can also be Italian. It doesn't really matter where you're from. I think you need to have an open mind, and you need to adapt to, or adapt easily to different cultures, travel, like, meet different people. Just have an open mind and curiosity, and that's what I find. And Italians, I think, stay kind of trapped in their bubble in general, unless they get. Also, Italians are also people that travel more than. Probably one of the people. Yeah, they travel so much. Everywhere you go, you'll meet Italians all over the world. But the ones that stay here, I don't know. They're like old school back in the day. I don't know. They're like stuck to these values, which is beautiful. Also,
what do you believe in love? Like, do you think it's just some?
Yeah, I think it doesn't happen to everyone, but I've definitely seen it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I wonder, because I don't know, it's like we were saying before, it's easy to find a companionship, or to be in a relationship that is fun, or is there's affection, there's respect, there's you do fun things together. I guess for me, like, I'm always searching for that level of intensity, that passion. I know it's an awful word, like, passion.
Yeah,
it's so cliched, but it is, and I'm searching for that, and I'm wondering, can you have that intensity, that passion, and have it be sustainable, and have it be a healthy relationship, not something that's toxic, that has you, like, heartbroken and crying every second day.
So we were talking about this before. For me, from what I've experienced, my most passionate relationship was my most toxic one.
Yeah, me too.
So, and the psychological, mental abuse that came with that relationship from the start, because you lose respect quite quickly, which is super important. You cross certain lines that you can't come back from, and I've learned that today. Like, if you even just one word that you disrespect that person, that will create a scar, and then it won't seem important right then and there. But going further on, it just destroys everything, and it gets you find yourself all of a sudden you're a mess, and you don't even know how you got there, and it doesn't work. So I don't know.
It's funny, isn't it? Because I wonder, do you have to make that choice, right? Do you have to make that choice of saying,
just settling, because this is right?
Yeah.
Because this is right. And I maybe want a family, and this is right to have a family, and then I think you can, like, kind of learn, but it's so sad, right? It sounds horrible, but then if you think about it, you also want to give, I think, your children a good dad, because if love ends, which many times in days we live in today, and you don't see these. I mean, it's not like our grandparents are still together. There's so much temptation, and then technology, and everything's so fast paced, and we meet so many people. And anyways, love has suffered those consequences, and relationships don't last, I guess, as much as they used to.
The people, I mean, the people, if you had to say, like, do you see more people with authentic love in Italy or in somewhere like New York? Do you think in New York there's...
New York's so cold. I don't know. I don't see New York as a love city. No, it's more work. It's more, obviously you can find love there, obviously, and it's incredible. My relationship was there, but I don't know. New York's tough. I mean, if you're a New Yorker, it's completely different. Then maybe you'll leave for a while. You'll come back. You'll have your family there. You go back to your roots.
Yeah.
But in general, I just don't see it as like relation. Here, of course, you see it more. Here, people start dating maybe in like the little town they live in, and they've been with the same girl for I don't know how many years, and then they end up getting married.
You were telling me last night you were working in tech for like with these dating apps, right?
That works in America. That works in America. And it's starting to work it works in Europe as well. But I just guess it's a matter of time. You don't have that much time to meet people, or like, let's say California. It's difficult because it's so spread out, and you're kind of like, you wake up, you're in your car, and you go to the office, and then you're back in your car, and then you go home. So I mean, it's just an extra tool to just like when you're home and mess around on your phone and meet someone. But even when
why don't you think because I find it like super
Italians use it to meet tourists.
It's so funny. I find
meet foreigners. They don't use it to meet Italian girls aren't on there. They'll use it if they go to New York or something, but they won't use it in Italy.
No, but I find it so interesting because having just like literally just come off a plane from New York, and my friends there, really like beautiful, intelligent girls who are using these dating apps because they're saying, like, I'm just not meeting the type of guys I'm going to meet, so I'll try anything, right? I'll try these dating apps. And
well, they're accepted. It doesn't look bad if you're on a dating app.
Right.
So that's already a big thing.
But why don't you think these dating apps worked in Italy? Like,
no, they do. They're starting to. They do. It's just everything kind of takes a while to get here in general, like tech-wise. After a while, everything we kind of like pick up once it hits London. So you're hitting Europe, and then you're maybe Spain, and then France, and then it gets to Italy. So it's working, but what I've encountered here in Italy is people just being like, I kind of already know everyone here. I know all my friends. I grew up here. I don't want to meet them online. Like, and they're more kind of embarrassed to see someone they know and, oh my God, sorry, I thought it was the bee. To see someone they know on there and be judged, because it's not 100% accepted, but it's getting there. And in the beginning, like Tinder and stuff was kind of seen as purely sex. So girls would want to be on it because they would have fun on it, because they would use mine and they would have a ball. They'd be there like, swipe. And then, but they wouldn't want to put their face on there. So they'd be like, oh my God, it's like a helicopter.
Do you think like, so, I mean, it's interesting because I find like you're this really interesting dichotomy of like very modern and very traditional, right? Because you've lived in New York, but you're Italian and you're living in Rome, and so like I'm curious, like, do you consider yourself a romantic? Like, do you still believe in? Are you the type of girl? And I'm speaking. This is the type of girl who like walks down the street, I don't know, Via Giulia or even here in Positano, and thinks, maybe I might cross paths with someone and we'll have a look and we'll start this love affair. I mean, do you believe those moments happen?
That's why I watch movies. No.
Or are you more of a realist? Like, what do you?
I think I've become a bit of a realist, unfortunately. I don't know. Probably more of a realist. But I have seen people that, and this doesn't happen to everyone, who really find their soulmate. Yeah. I have some friends but they're kind of dating, I feel like, their best friend. Right. Or themselves as a male or as a female. Like, it's very, like, similar interests, similar.
Do Do you think you have to
Or
make?
you can kind of learn to love someone
Do you have
by.
to make that choice, like that you have?
No, I don't think there are any rules. There aren't really rules. I don't think there
Like,
are rules.
okay,
But
tell me,
from this,
tell me about the couples that you have met where you've said, who are that couple where you said, oh my gosh,
the Australian couple.
yeah, they've
incredible.
got chemistry
20
still.
years later,
Really?
passion. But who knows? Maybe that's in front of me, but I
Yeah.
don't think so. It was
behind
who
closed
knows
doors
behind
then.
closed doors what they're doing. But
Yeah.
no, but they've managed to. But that's what they told me. They're like,
Yeah.
we're best friends. They
Yeah.
laugh all the time.
Yeah.
They're laughing all the time. They looked like two kids. You know, they were here
Yeah.
on vacation. They never, like, they always had a smile. Like, just their eyes were always, you know, glowing, and they always had a smile on their face. They're appreciative of, obviously, that we were here. So, I mean, but with themselves and just the respect they had, and they have these
Yeah.
two beautiful daughters. They were in Australia. I don't know. I've never seen a couple like that. I was talking to my friend who invited them, and we were just blown away because that does still exist, but it's rare. So when you see it, you're like, damn, lucky, you know, that
Yeah,
they
yeah,
have that.
yeah.
And because 20 years later, literally, it looked like they had just started dating. They were in that full blown like first like 3-month passion, you know, stage.
Wow.
So and they were still there after 20 years with two kids, with probably having encountered who knows how many different difficult hardships. A relationship, you know, deserves hard work. Like it's like a plant. You have to grow it, grow,
Yeah.
and water it every day and nurture it and take care of it, and then respect and kind of giving. Everything has to be balanced in moderation. It's so difficult. Someone gives too much, everyone takes too much. Then they're
Yeah.
you have to find your right balance. I don't know. And then some people just get lucky and they're just super in love. But then sometimes with that, there's the balance where maybe one person has more power and then the other person is crying or feeling anxious or insecure. And you feel like you're super in love and it's super passionate, but maybe because the other person is manipulating you
Right.
to make you, and then it's kind of like a power struggle. Like all of a sudden, you start acquiring more power, and the other person starts, you know, acting insecure. And
Right.
but are you ever happy there? Because I remember in my toxic, passionate relationship, it was kind of like that. It was this. Sometimes I would, you know, have more power in the relationship. Yeah, but it's not nice at the end of the day. You kind of really have to find your balance. I don't know. It's difficult. But that creates the passion because you fight and it's so intense, and then all of a sudden then you make up and you have amazing like makeup sex. I don't know, you know.
Yeah. Because I wonder as well, you know, like in Italian, like
But that's not healthy. It's a vicious cycle.
I know, but is complacency healthy? Like is settling is looking across at the person you wake up with and saying, you
Not
know,
for
you'll
me.
do,
Not
you'll
for
do.
me.
I mean, that
some
doesn't-
people are good at it.
that could kill me slowly. I mean,
yeah.
it's not as it's
And that's why relationships end.
right.
Obviously, if you're in a toxic relationship with someone, and you think you're super in love, but maybe he's a piece of shit, you end up having a child, you know, bring a child into this world, and you know you have a divorce. You have to realize who you're sharing your child with, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I think people really see that as far as like having children. I think that's important
That's
to look
the thing.
at that. Like,
Yeah.
will he be a good father one day, even if we're not together? You know.
Yeah.
And then some people just they check their boxes. I think it's when girls start having this anxiety to maybe this pressure to like have children at a certain age, 30s, early 30s, whatever. And they kind of settle. They're like, okay, fine. Okay, here you are. And they're only thinking about their needs, what they want. Okay, good dad, stable, successful. Like check. But then something's missing. What's missing? Passion? I don't know. It's like all the boxes are checked, but you're still not happy at the end of the day. So do you want too much? And
Yeah.
then maybe you don't get, if you want too much, like they say, always wanting more, then you're never going to be happy, obviously. I don't know. I don't know if it's luck,
Yeah.
right timing.
Yeah.
I can't settle. That's
I-
something.
You
I can't do it.
can't?
No.
Yeah.
No, not today. No,
What is-
maybe when I'm 35 and if I haven't found someone, and then I
You'd
want
be
a
like, you know
child
what, that
with
whole
a fine-
settling thing. Yeah, I'm gonna give that a try.
Maybe that will work. This passion thing doesn't work.
Does because your mother's Italian, right? Both your parents are Italian.
Yeah.
So your mother, what does she ever give you any advice? Is like where does she sit on the romance scale? Does she sort of say, honey, you should really settle down, or is she sort of like, you know what, go with your heart?
No, she's like, go with your heart. Because sometimes I'm so cold. Like, I'll say things like, I don't believe in love, you know, or love doesn't exist, or this bullshit. She'll be like, oh my God, you can't think that already, you know, at 27? No, like, try it out. Say it a little later if you want, but just at least try. You cannot go into, like, anyways, so, she kind of, I guess, did so she had me around 30, which was kind of late back then. So she was working, so she was acting and modeling. And then she met my dad. She got out of a really serious 6-year relationship with a pretty famous director here in Italy. And so she was writing with him and, you know, acting in most of his movies. But he was older and he already had 2 kids, so she wanted a family.
It's like the ultimate romantic story. No, she was an actress and he was a director.
It really is.
And,
but he didn't want kids because he already had 2. He was older.
I see.
So she had to end it, even though she was super in love with him, and because she wanted a family. She wanted to, you know, build her family. Yeah. And then she met my dad, and they got married in about 3 months.
Oh wow.
But it was too impulsive, so it didn't work. Right. But they stayed great friends. And then I saw my mom, actually, when we moved to Miami, have probably one of her most passionate stories for 6 years with someone. Yeah, after my father. Yeah. But after that story, she never found someone she had that passion with. So I don't know. I guess it's different for everyone. I don't know if you have it once, if you can have it again. I don't know if you're always kind of trying to compare it to that passionate relationship you had to see if like you feel that again. I remember my first relationship, I was super passionate. When we broke up, I thought I was dying. You know, it's like your first love. You can't eat and you throw up and you feel like the world is and everything's done. It's beautiful. Now I miss that. I'm like, I want that. I was dying. Back in the day, I was dying. I was like, this is horrible. Love her. I'd rather have a sore throat. I'd rather have like 41 fever, but no love. You know. Anyways, I felt like shit. But today I miss that feeling. I would love to feel that again. And then so my second relationship after that was even stronger than that one. So I remember one day, I always think about this. I was sitting in a Peruvian restaurant in New York. And I was looking at my new guy. And I don't know why I remember this moment like so vividly till this day. There it goes. I was looking at him and I'm like, okay. Okay. I was like, I love this guy here more than the last one, so you can definitely find like more passionate love, right? Because I thought I wouldn't after my first boyfriend, which is your first love, and so I was like, this is it, you know. I lost him, I'm done. But I found more passion in the second one, not initially, but it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, not initially. No, I didn't want to be with him in the beginning. No, then he kind of. But slowly after, obviously, it wasn't like, you know, months later. Slowly after the kiss is super important for me. It's like a kind of chemistry connect. I don't know what it is. It's the most important thing. So after the kiss, I know for me, it's... No,
me too. The kiss is everything.
Everything. So I was like, damn, I like this guy after that first kiss. Okay. And I was looking at him and I'm like, shit, so I think I love this guy. Or this is more passionate and more exciting than my first one. So I'm like, yes, even if this doesn't work out, there's better, more, you know, that's what I thought. I know. But then after him, no. So now I'm like kind of stuck, but I know somewhere deep down.
Then you're like looking around, you're like, okay, where are they?
Yeah.
No, but I totally agree with you. And I find
I was also younger. I don't know if it's like the age.
No. But I agree with you because I think that sometimes even if something doesn't work out, if you feel that little moment of thrill or chemistry or something, I find that it's incredibly reassuring because you think, okay, I'm not going to die after a breakup and there it is
time heals everything.
Yeah, and also I think I don't believe there's just one person for you. I think different people bring out different sides of you.
Of course. And each relationship you learn from and grow and try not to repeat the same mistakes again. So and take something.
And they're equally beautiful or they're equally fulfilling, but just in different ways. So they bring out different sides of you. And I guess the question is with love, what side of you do you want someone to bring out? And I think that's the choice we have to make, no? Because you can find someone that you can find different people, like different characters that you can fall in love with. And I guess it's just saying, okay, well, do I like me in this story or do I prefer myself?
Yeah, that's super important. Super important. because the other person, obviously, you start mirroring the other person. And then if you're with someone that's a bit, I'm not gonna say stupid, but like I guess
Who doesn't challenge
superficial,
you?
not stimulating, doesn't challenge you, that you don't look up to, you're gonna start to kind of feel numb. Like that happened to me at one point, or feel like you lose your creativity, or you're just kind of floating and you don't know what you're doing. And you kind of regress, like mentally, like, and that happened to me once. And I felt like I was older in age, but like I was like, what am I taking here? Who am I? Because you start mirroring yourself, So then at one point I was seeing someone who was really successful and like a hard worker, and it really pushed me to like want to like, pursue my activities and work harder. And being with someone, you start acting a bit like them, marrying them, or like anything, like stupidity is contagious. So if you're with someone that isn't stimulating, you're gonna. So it's very important, I guess, to be with someone who brings out the best side of you and what you want to bring out. Be it like have a family, or or have like businesswomen, and it really depends. But also, if you're a businesswoman and you're dating a really successful businessman, well, that's a disaster as well. That's like competitive. Then you get all competitive with each other.
I know.
It's hard. There's no rules.
It's true. It's true. But I think I think when I was younger, I sort of thought, this is just a relationship, and this is just a story, and it's okay. I can go into it, and then I can come out of it at the other end. But I think they do every relationship. I mean, if it's serious,
right.
And I tend to. I'm, quite traditional in that sense. I like to have, monogamy, and I like to, I like to live with my partners,
right.
and create a home together. And I think, they do change you, right? And
they do 100%. And each one leaves something.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that. So then, like now that I'm a little bit older, I feel like, okay, well, you do have to really think before you enter that love affair, if you can. I mean, I don't know if you even have a choice. Like sometimes I
think you have to just know you're never going to know what you want, right? Everyone asks you, what do you want? I guess in time you kind of start to kind of understand what you want, but you're never exactly sure.
Right.
The important thing is to know what you don't want.
Yeah.
100%. And
so
then
what don't you want?
I don't know if I know that yet, actually. But I haven't worked out. No, but you learn, I guess, from each relationship, each serious relationship, what it is that doesn't work with you, what doesn't sit well, what, and you try to avoid that. So at the end, you start selecting, filtering, and there's a few things I know I don't want, and I'm just like, when I see it, I'm like, just like. Ragazzi viziati.
Yeah, spoiled boys.
Spoiled boys, and just when they're too egocentric. I like people to be open, and I like to share everything, and I like honesty. Who doesn't? I mean, that's the key. That's the fundamentals of a relationship, and a lot of people just aren't, and they're fake, and they're putting on. And that's difficult. It takes some time. Obviously.
I mean, you say everyone wants honesty, but I mean, there are a lot of girls who. There are a lot of girls.
There's my alarm.
No, go.
I gotta go soon. But this is fun.
Sorry. No, but just like a lot of girls are attracted to the bad boy. The guy who has swagger, or the guy who has that kind of.
They'll close an eye and they'll live like shit, I think.
Yeah.
But if they're happy, I know a lot of girls that are with someone, right, and who is obviously cheating, or is everyone kind of knows and they know. Yeah. But they're just okay. They're but I want this anyway, so I'm just gonna close an eye, and I'm the wife, or I'm the first girl, so I'm more important. So, but it's so sad at the end of the day. It is. If that right person exists, or if it's your soulmate or whatever, I think something just clicks, like how your passionate relationship started. Mm-hmm. You saw each other, it just started. It doesn't happen every day. It doesn't happen to some people at all. But if it happens, then I think you have to go with it.
You do?
That's it, yeah.
So because
I'm for the passion.
So still, even in spite of your
I hope I get that again.
You think it's worth taking the risk?
Oh yeah. No, I want to feel that again, because I need to. I don't want to settle for like what's right on paper, like but not feel anything. I'm a very sensitive person, and very emotional also, so I need to have that, and that needs to be part of the relationship, or else it's just dry and I'm bored. And you're a great guy, but I need to feel it here, the butterflies or the anxiety.
When you honestly...
Yeah, when you look at that person and you're just like, I think like, I'm so lucky, like, you're mine, like, I love you so much.
Yeah,
but it's rare. But I
Yeah, it
think
is.
we have some hope. Strolling the streets of Rome.
I do. Sorry, I know you have to go. Okay, well, thank you so much.
We'll do it again. It was fun.
You're
Thank
so
you.
beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Such a beautiful person and very. It's great to meet a fellow romantic. You know,
Yeah.
who knows the like the realities of love, but then is still hopeful.
Yeah, exactly.